Today we're exploring the science of Black Panther. In this segment, we look at how Wakanda got its greatest resource, vibranium. Sometime in the past, a meteorite crashed into what would become modern-day Wakanda, delivering a metal with amazing properties.
You've been taking bullets, charging it up with kinetic energy.
It could absorb and redirect energy. We'll explore the properties of vibranium in another segment, but for now, let's look at the idea of getting a new kind of metal from space, one that gives your people a technological edge. Could that happen? Remarkably, the answer is yes, and it's happened several times throughout Earth's history. Access to more advanced tools and weapons gave society such a huge technological advantage that we divide historical eras by them: the Stone, Bronze, and Iron Ages. In the Stone Age, tools and weapons were made of rocks and minerals, but beginning in around 3200 BC, some societies discovered how to smelt copper with arsenic and tin to produce bronze. This ultimately gave rise to durable swords, armor, and eventually professional armies. Iron is even better than bronze, but rarely exists on Earth as a separate element. Instead, you find it in iron ores like magnetite and hematite. Iron smelting, heating ore in the presence of carbon to extract the iron, wasn't invented until about 1100 BC. But archaeologists have discovered that the Egyptians had access to iron 2 millennia before that. The Gurza beads are iron ornaments from an Egyptian necklace. But how did they get that iron if they didn't have the technology to extract it? Turns out, these beads were made from iron taken from a meteorite like this one. Man, it's heavy. Iron from meteorites have specific percentages of nickel and cobalt mixed in, which is how we know some artifacts are made from meteorites, including a dagger from Turkey, a pendant from Syria, and even King Tut's dagger from Egypt. Just imagine ancient blacksmiths crafting these extraterrestrial weapons. Examples of cultures mining meteorites have even survived to the modern age. Thousands of years ago, the Cape York meteorite crashed into Greenland. For centuries, the Inuit mined the iron from the pieces. Though they had otherwise Stone Age technology, they were able to use their space iron to make metal tools and harpoons. This happened in Africa and South America too. In all these cases, colonialists took the meteorites from the people who had made use of them for centuries. The one case where this didn't happen was the 60-ton Hoba meteorite in Namibia. That's because it stayed buried until 1920. Just like in Black Panther, the best way to preserve Africa's meteoric resources was to keep them hidden from colonizers.
It was taken by British soldiers in Benin, but it's from Wakanda, and it's made out of vibranium.
The coolest thing about meteorites is that they're messengers from the formation of the solar system. It started as a cloud of gas and dust, which cooled and condensed to form the sun and planets. We know this because we've seen it happening in other places. In the Orion Nebula, new solar systems are in the process of forming. And check out this amazing image from the ALMA telescope showing a distant planetary system being born. Those gaps in the disk are where protoplanets are condensing and sweeping up gas to make new worlds. So how did the iron atoms get together? That's the work of gravity. Iron atoms are heavy, so they mostly sink to the bottom of any planet as it's forming. So this iron was part of a much larger planetesimal, a planetary building block. When they collided, some stuck together to make planets, but some got smashed apart into pieces like this. This is still happening today. We still see comets smashing into Jupiter and even meteors hitting the moon and Earth. So these meteoric weapons are the records of creation and violence on two timescales, the human and the cosmic. They're witness to both our birth and violence and to the relentless weaponization of technology. But that just tells half the story. We only know this because we put our swords aside for long enough to develop science. So Black Panther has it exactly right. Their meteoric vibranium makes an awesome weapon. But it's the advanced science of Wakanda that's really endeared it to audiences all around the world. If you like this segment, check out the rest on Black Panther and subscribe to Science vs. Cinema. I'm an astrophysics professor, but I'm also a huge film geek. On this show, we take a look at the science in movies. We celebrate when they get it right,
Something that could actually happen.
and we school them when they get it wrong. See what happens when we introduce some Martian wind. This is Science vs. Cinema.